So welcome back to another bloody good vaping. So today I'm going to be taking a look at a mod that I've basically ummed and ahed about for quite some time. I mean, it's not a new mod in any respect. It's been around for nearly 2 years, and that is the Super T ELA, or ELA or ELA, depending on which way you want to say it. Now, this is a telescopic mod, and it has the capabilities of taking the battery 16340, 18350, 18500 and the 650. Now, what is pretty unique about this telescopic device is it's not a threaded tube like you will find on the majority of all other telescopics. It actually has a compression band inside on this sort of knurled ring here, and basically you loosen that ring and just pull the telescopic tube up or down and then tighten the ring as well. It has a compression band inside here which basically grips or loosens as you turn this ring and allows the tube to come in and out. So it's a very fast telescopic device, none of that screwing up for 8 hours, and also, which it does, it protects the tube inside from obviously wear marks or scratch marks from where you're constantly threading it in and out. And it works very, very well. It is a great device and a great system of how it works. Now, it's you can get this in stainless steel, polished as it's called. This version is, but although it's sort of very lightly brushed, and you can also get these in satin as well, which is a really sort of nice media blasted finish. Now, this is the ELA V1. This is the classic version of the ELA. Currently, Super T are just putting out their first batch of their version 2, which is pretty much the same mod. However, it comes with sort of like a solid top cap, and also different knurling. It has single knurling on this band on the way round, and it has sort of different threading on the bottom tube as well, but I'll get into more details about that soon. Now, before I go into the huge amount of details there is for this mod, the customizable options that you can have with this mod as well, and price plan and where to get them from and how often they are released. I'm going to go down to the table, I'm going to break it up into nearly its half a dozen parts. I mean, the amount of parts on this is quite ridiculous, and then come back and give you my final thoughts. Shahif. So here you have your Super T ELA, currently in 18350 mode. It does have a 24.6 diameter on the top cap there, but you can actually get a 22mm slanted top cap from the Super T website when they're in stock, or you can actually go to a gentleman called Bograt who makes sort of adapters for your top caps and basically can taper into any size you want, and you can see him with his lists up on maybe UKV Forum or Vape Pit. As you can see, this has got the standard Super T precise switch in it, which basically you have cutouts for your fingers there and your small switch inside here. Now, this does protrude out further than your cutouts, so it will need to be locked if putting it down or not using it, and that is done just simply by pushing at the right side, pushing the switch like so, and that is now locked. However, it's still a bit of a bugger when putting it down because the switch protrudes out, so it is still pretty much unstable. So I would recommend getting either the Super T flat switch for this or the sat burn switch, which is really nice, which I'll show you in a second. Now, on the top cap you can see you have a 510 and it's an adjustable pin inside there. So let's just remove that top cap first of all. There you have your adjustable pin like so. Now, these are brass with rhodium coating as well, so they will not tarnish, they'll keep pretty much clean themselves. You can remove and adjust that like so. Now, what is really nice about these as well is you can see on the edges they have these flat surfaces, which basically makes it a lot easier for your fingers, and also, if necessary, if it ever gets stuck, you can use a spanner to sort of untie that without worrying about denting or chipping it. And you get the same on the actual threading of the top cap itself. You get those flat edges. Has been designed for use of a spanner if necessary. just put that back in for now. Now you also are provided with an extra top cap as well for airflow, in case you were using sort of like atomizers without airflow, maybe like a car atomizer. You will need to put an O-ring over your top cap like so for this. But once again, that just threads over like so, and you can put your car atomizers in there and it provides all its own airflow through these holes in the top cap. Now just to show you how the telescopic mechanism works, it's really quite simple. With this ring here, you just unlock it and pull out to telescope and then lock again. And that is now firmly held in place. Which is a really nice and quick, easy way to change your telescopic mod to fit whatever batteries you are using. And how this works is pretty simple. Inside this locking ring there is a small round aluminium band. So basically when you lock, that band catches onto the tube itself and won't let it go anywhere. So it's really quite a simple design but works really effectively. On the main tube you'll see you do have a hole there for venting. Underneath the switch you'll see it is a spring inside there, and also, which is quite nice, is your battery sits inside the mod, so when taking off the switch you don't have to worry about your battery falling out. It's stuck in there nice and tidy, so that's one less thing to worry about. The switch itself has those same contacts. They're brass with the rhodium plating over the top. Now if you were to change to your flat switch, which you can get from Super T, which is just basically this here, you just simply put that in like so, add your spring inside, and there you have your flat switch, and that will lock exactly the same as well, although a bit more tricky when it being flat, but you won't necessarily need to lock it because it sits flush with the bottom of the switch. And now we can stand them up without any problem. But also let's have a look at some of the aftermarket switches. Here I have a SAT switch designed by Satburn for the ELA, and all you do simply, if you do get to own one of these, is you remove the contact from your existing switch and the washer, screw that into the bottom of the SAT switch like so, place that onto your ELA, and there you go, you now have a SAT switch on your ELA, which is very nice. You also can get either a brass or a stainless steel button itself. I like the brass. Now also some people might not like the fact that it looks like this when you telescope it out, so you do have an option of having these either a stainless steel or a brass beauty ring, as to speak, to put onto your telescopic tube for when you're saying 18500 or 18650. And to do this simply you just get one of the provided O-rings. You are supplied with quite a few O-rings. Place that over the tube, take your accent, and you'll see that it has a little groove inside there which is ready to catch the O-ring. As long as you put it on the right way, unlike what I did. Screw that all the way up until it catches. Place it into your mod, and there you have it in 18500 mode, and you've also got rid of that sort of large indented section of the telescopic tube there, and it looks nice and flush. And you can actually get the brass one if you prefer brass, and also to complement it, a brass ring for the bottom there. And that's pretty much it. Just take that off and put it back in 18350 mode. You are provided with a lot of O-rings for this, all spare O-rings. And there you have your Super T ELA. So there you saw the Super T ELA in its many parts broken down. I mean, this is a really nice mod. It's a solid piece of kit and it weighs a good weight. It does feel quality. And it is, you know, I really like this. A lot of people, some people don't, you know, it's a very Marmite type mod. You know, you either love it or you hate it. But for me, I'm really enjoying using this mod. And also what's great about this mod, which I really like, is the amount of customizable options that you can have with it. You know, the fact that you can change your accents from brass to stainless steel, the fact that there are different sort of top caps you can get for it as well, you know, solid or the airflow control top cap or the regular top cap or the ones with the mag wheels crossouts or the traditional or the flower top ones, you know. And the fact that as well, which is also a great thing about the ELA, are the aftermarket parts that you can get created by different modders. Now, I've currently got the sat switch on this, which was designed obviously by Andreas Satburn himself, and it really does change the look and the feel of this mod. You know, the sat switch is absolutely sublime. And it gives you that flat bottom as well with a really sort of nice switch, and you can also get the switch itself, the button itself, in brass or stainless steel. You can buy a Super T flat switch with this, but it uses the existing button, which, you know, I don't particularly like that button that it comes with, you know, that small round little button that you have to push sort of inwards. It doesn't really do it for me. But the sat switch on this really does change the style of this mod. There's also another mod maker out there called John Schaffer, or Schaefer, I hope it's Schaefer, who makes the Schaefer switch, you know. I definitely need to get a Schaefer switch, and I've got one on order, which is basically a magnetic switch in the same style of the sat switch with copper contacts on it. And also you can get your 22mm tapered top caps for this, because it's 24.6mm in diameter. A lot of your Atchis aren't going to fit streamline, but it still looks good. I've got the rocket on the top of this at the moment and it looks great. There are also other tubes that you can get for this, made by a modder called, I think Stacey Bruce makes them. I might be wrong there, but I've seen a lot of pictures where you actually remove this compression ring and this sort of knurled ring here and screw on just another sort of tube on there, and it gets rid of that section and it's just completely flush and it looks really nice. So there are lots of variations that you can get to use the ELA. It's a very customizable mod, and for a vapor like me, that's one of the great things, you know. I really do enjoy customizing mods and getting different bits and making it look how I want it to look. You know, you may have trouble sourcing some of these bits, you know, because they are in high demand and in very small numbers, but that also makes it great fun. The hunt for me is great fun of finding these bits and pieces for your most loved mods. Makes it a really good hobby, you know, and really something that you can get into. Now, the price of the Super T ELA is not cheap, really. I think they go on the Super T website for about $250, which is around 147, 150 pounds. And you also, if you're in the UK, have to pay $40 shipping. So you're going up to around 175, 180 quid. Now, they did actually sell these at Cloud9 Vaping, but they haven't had any in stock for a long time now, and they went for sale for about £172. And you could also buy the brass accents there and different bits and pieces there as well. But recently these have been appearing on the Super T website nearly every week in small batches. There were some that went up yesterday, but they sell out pretty quickly. But I have read on the ECF forums that David, the guy who runs Super T, is releasing small batches every week, so they're becoming more and more available now. But they are at the moment selling the ELA 2. I mean, this is the ELA 1, the classic ELA, if you want to call it that. The ELA 2 has had some small changes done. The knurling on the centre ring has been changed to sort of a single stroke cutout now. They are coming with solid top caps, and also the button has been addressed and has been made flat with the bottom cap, and also a larger diameter as well, unlike the original button, that you got with the Super T, which was quite small and also stuck out a little bit from the bottom cap, so you couldn't really sit it down without locking it, and plus it wasn't very sturdy when sitting it down anyway, which is pretty much why the aftermarket caps were and switches were made, so that you could sit it down and leave it without worrying about it. Now, I'll put the link in the description for the Super T website. You know, they've got lots on there at the moment, you know, with the Precise Plus range. They've also got a 26650 mod out on there. They do the Strata RDA, and more stuff is coming available on their website now, so that more and more of us can get hold of these great devices. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the ELA. I think it's a cracking telescopic mod, you know, and by far one of the best telescopic mods that I've ever used. Just going to take another blast now. Lovely. And if you do have an ELA and you don't have a sat switch for it, hunt for that sat switch. It really does make a huge amount of difference to this mod, and it really is probably one of my favourites that I've been using so far. And absolutely stunning. The telescopic mechanism on this is really great and different. You know, it's something that's really sort of out of this world. It's absolutely fantastic the way that works. And these do come as well in different finishes, only 2 different finishes, I believe. This is the polished, which is more of like a fine brushed finish, or there is the satin as well, which is kind of like a media blasted finish, pretty similar to what you had on the Russian atomizer. So yeah, I mean, that's the Super T ELA, you know, absolutely stunning, and especially stunning when you start getting the aftermarket parts for it, say your sat switch, say your 22mm top caps, say your brass accents or your stainless steel accents, and you can have a very fine interchangeable mod and make it look different each time you use it, which is absolutely great. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this review, and I will see you on the next one. Stay safe.